get ready because we are diving deep into Shakespeare's Macbeth. It's a play that really gets under your skin, full of ambition and betrayal and, well, a touch of the supernatural too. We're going to untangle the plight, break down the characters, and explore the big themes that make Macbeth so powerful, especially if you're a lit student.
You know what always strikes me about Macbeth is how Shakespeare just throws you right into the action. You open with these three witches, and they're cooking up some serious trouble. Predicting a future full of power for Macbeth, it sets the stage for this incredible story where ambition and fate clash.
Right from the start. And Shakespeare really sets the mood, too. You've got thunder and lightning and these witches chanting those creepy lines like, fair is foul and foul is fair. Talk about foreshadowing.
Oh, it's brilliant how he foreshadows the play's themes. The witches' prophecies really make you think about fate and free will. Is Macbeth really in control, or is he being played? And then there's that whisper of ambition. That's going to be huge throughout the play.
So we've got Macbeth, this Scottish general, fresh off a big victory. He runs into these witches, and they hit him with this crazy prophecy. You're going to be Thane of Cawdor, they say, and then King of Scotland. Can you imagine hearing something like that?
You can almost see the wheels turning in his head. At first he's like, yeah, whatever, but then, boom, he's named Thane of Cawdor, just like the witches said. And that little confirmation, it just lights a fire under his ambition.
And then we have Lady Macbeth, one of Shakespeare's most fascinating female characters, easily. She's ambitious not just for her husband, but she embodies ambition. She pushes Macbeth relentlessly to grab that throne, no matter the cost. Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under end.
That line is perfect. It sums up her whole manipulative personality, but it also points to this theme that runs through the whole play: appearance versus reality. Macbeth's told to hide his true intentions, put on a mask of innocence, and that deception, that hiding your true self, that's going to lead to all sorts of problems.
So Act 2, Macbeth, pushed by his wife and those prophecies, he does the unthinkable. He murders King Duncan in cold blood. It's a turning point, a descent into darkness for Macbeth. You can see him struggling with guilt and paranoia even before he does it. But once that blood is spilled, there's no going back.
It's like a slow-motion train wreck. You see him fighting with his conscience, knowing it's wrong, but his ambition wins. It just takes over. And the consequences are immediate and brutal. Duncan's sons run away, Scotland falls into chaos, and Macbeth, even though he gets what he wanted, he's living in fear, constantly suspicious.
And then Act 3 cranks up the tension even more. Remember, the witches also said Banquo's kids would be kings. Macbeth can't let that go. He's obsessed with staying in power. And it takes him down an even darker path.
And this is where you see how ambition really destroys people. Macbeth, who used to be loyal and brave, he becomes this tyrant. He has his friend Banquo killed. He even tries to kill Banquo's son Fleance. But Fleance escapes, so Macbeth's still stuck with that prophecy, that possibility hanging over him. It's like this constant fear eating away at him.
That fear really takes center stage in the banquet scene. You've got Macbeth, king now, hosting this big feast. But he's haunted by Banquo's ghost, literally. Only Macbeth can see the ghost, but his reaction freaks everyone out.
That scene is so powerful. The banquet's supposed to be this celebration of order, but it's totally disrupted by Macbeth's guilt. It's like you can feel the weight of his actions crushing him.
And Lady Macbeth, who seems so strong, starts to crumble under the pressure, too. She tries to cover for her husband, but it's clear things are falling apart.
Speaking of falling apart, Act 4 takes us even deeper into Macbeth's paranoia. He goes back to the witches, desperate for answers about his future, and of course the witches are happy to oblige. They give him more prophecies, conjure up these apparitions.
It's like they're playing this twisted game with him. They know exactly how to manipulate him, and he falls for it every time.
Oh, absolutely. They give him these prophecies that seem reassuring. They tell him he's invincible, that no man born of woman can hurt him, but their words are full of tricks and traps. They just feed his fears and desires.
And he gets this false sense of security. He orders the murder of Macduff's wife and kids. It's horrific, and it shows how far he's fallen. There's no coming back from that.
No, he's crossed the line. There's no redemption for him now. And Lady Macbeth, she can't take the guilt anymore. She completely unravels. Her sleepwalking scene where she's trying to wash away imaginary bloodstains, it's haunting, it's heartbreaking. It's like her conscience is torturing her.
Out, damn spot. Out, I say. Right. One of the most famous lines in Shakespeare.
It speaks to the power of guilt, how it can consume you.
And as we move into Act V, Macbeth is alone, desperate. His world's falling apart. His wife is gone. An army's coming for him. And he delivers that famous tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow speech. It's so bleak he's reflecting on how empty his ambition has become.
That speech is a masterpiece. It's all introspection and existential dread. He's got everything he thought he wanted, but it means nothing. He realizes that all his ambition brought him was misery.
And then we have the final showdown, Macbeth facing off against Macduff. Macbeth still believes he can't be defeated. He's clinging to those prophecies. Macduff is fueled by grief and revenge. He wants justice.
The tension in that scene is incredible. Macbeth is so arrogant, convinced he's untouchable, and Macduff is driven by pure fury. And then that twist, the revelation about Macduff's birth. He wasn't born of woman in the traditional sense. The prophecies fall apart, and Macbeth realizes he's been outplayed.
It's classic dramatic irony. We know the truth the whole time, but Macbeth only figures it out at the very end. And it leads to this epic battle. Macbeth versus Macduff, good versus evil, fate versus free will.
Shakespeare doesn't shy away from the violence. It's a brutal fight. But it's about more than just that. It's about the nature of power, the cycle of violence.
In the end, Macbeth is defeated. Macduff gets his revenge. Malcolm, the rightful heir, becomes king and promises peace for Scotland. But even with the victory, there's a feeling of sadness, a sense that the damage is done. It makes you wonder, can Scotland ever truly heal after all that?
That ambiguity is interesting, isn't it? Malcolm promises a new beginning, but can you really recover from that level of trauma? And what about those questions about fate and free will? Did the witches cause Macbeth's downfall, or did he choose his own path? Those are questions people have been debating for centuries. It's what makes Macbeth so compelling. It's a play that works on so many levels. It makes you think about the characters' motivations, but also the bigger picture, the impact of their actions on society.
We talked about the historical context earlier. Macbeth was written around the time of the Gunpowder Plot in 1605, when King James of Mars was in charge. You said there might be some connections between the play and that real-life event. Can you tell us more about that?
Of course, the Gunpowder Plot was this attempt to kill King James and blow up Parliament. It failed. But it was a crazy time in England, lots of political and religious unrest. A lot of scholars think Shakespeare was reflecting that tension in his work. And remember, King James was obsessed with witches and demons. He even wrote a book about it. So the witches in Macbeth, with their prophecies and their power, they would have tapped right into those fears.
So it's like Shakespeare was showing his audience what could happen, the potential for chaos and destruction that was hiding beneath the surface.
Exactly. He was exploring themes of regicide, killing a king, and the consequences of unchecked ambition. Macbeth would have hit home for audiences who were still dealing with the fallout of the Gunpowder Plot. It was a warning, but also a reflection on how fragile power really is.
It's incredible that a play written over 400 years ago can still speak to us today. Those themes of ambition, power, and corruption, they're timeless, aren't they?
Absolutely. It shows Shakespeare's genius. He understood human nature, our desires, our fears, our potential for good and evil. Macbeth isn't just a historical drama. It's a reflection on what it means to be human.
So for all you literature students out there, as you dive into Macbeth, pay attention to Shakespeare's language, the symbolism, the way he builds his characters. Think about the historical context and how it connects to our world today. And most importantly, don't be afraid to ask the big questions. Wrestle with the moral dilemmas that Macbeth throws at you.
I agree. Engage with the play, be critical, be creative, read different interpretations, watch different versions, and come to your own conclusions. Macbeth is a play that rewards close reading and thought, and it's a play that stays with you.
And here's a final thought. At the end, Malcolm, the new king, vows to bring order and justice back to Scotland. But can true healing really happen after such terrible events? Can a nation, or even a person, ever fully recover from the wounds of ambition and violence? Macbeth doesn't give easy answers, but it makes us confront those questions. It makes us confront the darkness that exists inside us and in the world. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep into Shakespeare. Until next time, happy reading.
That fear, it's all over that banquet scene. Macbeth's king now. He's throwing this big feast, but he's totally haunted by Banquo's ghost. Only he can see it, but everyone else sees him freaking out. It's chaos.
It's such a vivid scene, so powerful. This banquet is supposed to be about order, celebration, but Macbeth's guilt just explodes out. It takes over.
And Lady Macbeth, she was so tough, so in control, but she's cracking under the strain. She tries to smooth things over, but you can see things are unraveling.
And talk about unraveling. Act 4 takes us deeper into Macbeth's spiral. He's getting more and more paranoid. He goes back to those witches. He needs answers. He needs to know what's coming.
And you know the witches, always happy to stir the pot. More prophecies, more apparitions, more riddles.
Like they're toying with him, right.
Right.
They know how to push his buttons, and he just keeps falling for it.
Oh, they're master manipulators. They give him these prophecies that sound good. No man born of woman can harm you, they say, like he's invincible. But it's all smoke and mirrors. It just plays into his deepest anxieties.
And he buys it completely. He's so convinced he's untouchable that he orders the murder of Macduff's family. His wife and kids, it's brutal. It's just pure evil.
Yeah, there's no turning back after that. He's gone too far. And Lady Macbeth, she finally breaks. The guilt just consumes her. You see it in that sleepwalking scene. She's trying to wash the blood off her hands. But it's not real blood. It's the blood of her conscience.
Haunting, isn't it? Out, damn spot, out, I say.
Yeah.
Such a powerful image.
It's the image of guilt. How it stains you. How it can drive you mad.
Act V. Macbeth is isolated, desperate. Everything's crumbling around him. He's lost his wife. An army's on its way. And that's when we get that tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow speech. It's so bleak, so full of despair, he realizes how empty his ambition is.
That speech is incredible. It's like he's staring into the abyss. He's achieved everything he thought he wanted, and it's all meaningless. He's totally alone, and he brought it all on himself.
And then, the final confrontation. Macbeth versus Macduff. Macbeth's still clinging to those prophecies. He thinks he can't be beaten. But Macduff, he's driven by vengeance, by the loss of his family.
It's a clash of titans, right? Macbeth, arrogant and delusional. Macduff, righteous fury personified. And then boom, that twist about Macduff's birth. He wasn't born of woman in the usual way. Those prophecies, they don't apply to him.
Such a great moment. We see the truth all along, but Macbeth's blind to it until it's too late.
And it leads to this incredible fight, this explosion of violence. It's Shakespeare at his most visceral, but it's more than just a fight. It's about the battle between good and evil, fate and free will. Everything comes to a head.
In the end, Macbeth loses. Macduff gets his revenge. Malcolm becomes king. He promises a new era for Scotland, an era of peace. But even with the good guys winning, there's this lingering sadness. It makes you think about the cost of ambition, the scars it leaves behind.
It makes you wonder if those wounds ever really heal.
Yeah, like can a country or even a person come back from something like that?
Right, and what about those big questions about fate? Did those witches set Macbeth up, or did he make his own choices?
Those are the kinds of questions that keep people talking about Macbeth, even now. It's what makes it such a great play.
It gets under your skin and makes you think. It's not just about these characters, it's about the bigger picture. About how our choices affect the world around us.
We talked about the history behind the play earlier, the gunpowder plot, King James, all that. You said there might be some links between Macbeth and what was happening back then?
Oh yeah, definitely. The gunpowder plot was this wild attempt to blow up the king and parliament. It was a crazy time. England was super unstable, politically and religiously. And a lot of people think Shakespeare was tapping into that anxiety, that fear, especially with King James being so obsessed with witches and demons.
Right, he even wrote a whole book about it.
So those witches in Macbeth, with their prophecies and their influence, they would have freaked people out big time.
It's like Shakespeare was holding up a mirror to society, showing them the dark side of ambition, the potential for chaos and destruction.
Exactly. He was exploring these themes of regicide, the ultimate taboo, and the consequences of letting ambition run wild. For an audience that had just lived through the gunpowder plot, that would have been powerful stuff.
It's amazing how a play written so long ago can still resonate today.
It speaks to those universal themes, ambition, power, corruption. Those things are always relevant, no matter the time period.
So if you're studying Macbeth, really pay attention to the details. The language, the symbolism, how Shakespeare builds his characters. Think about the history, how it connects to our world. And don't be afraid to ask the tough questions, to grapple with those moral dilemmas.
I couldn't agree more. Engage with the play, challenge yourself, read different perspectives, watch different performances, come to your own conclusions about what it all means. That's the beauty of Macbeth. It rewards close reading and deep thought.
It's a play that stays with you, that makes you think about the big stuff. And here's a final thought to leave you with. At the end of Macbeth, Malcolm, the new king, promises to heal Scotland. But can a nation or a person ever truly recover from such trauma? Macbeth doesn't give us easy answers. It challenges us to wrestle with those questions, to look at the darkness that exists in ourselves and in the world. So keep exploring, keep questioning, keep digging deeper into the world of Shakespeare. Until next time, happy reading.